Hello and welcome back to a very windy North Cornwall, but I'm going to head on to a footpath that I haven't been on. It's got a couple interesting features I want to check out, and for a couple reasons which I'll chat about later on. It's clearly signed at the very start of this particular section, and I will be making my way down this very used farm track into some agricultural fields to start off with. So without any further ado, I'll make my way and we'll see what we come across or where we end up. There's some stunning countryside here, and where that wind turbine on the top of the hill sits, well, to be honest with you, where all three of them sit, that would be Launceston over those hills, but it's extremely windy, even though we are kind of descending down into a valley. The path is pretty good going, and looks like there's a new house been built on my left, but this track we've got to make our way past these farm buildings. I'm actually using digital format to follow this path rather than a map and compass, and I was struggling here to find where the actual path was, because as you can see there's no indication of it, and I have basically three options, but hidden away in amongst all this here there is a dilapidated footpath sign and a gate, so I'm presuming I will be taking this gateway down to a path, but I could be bushwhacking. Now, there is a pathway down beside these buildings. It looks like I can actually push past it, but yeah, it's not, shall we say, the most open and well used of tracks by the looks of it. And when you get out onto the footpaths, this is the sort of thing that you have to be prepared and deal with. And as you can see, I'm having to crouch. I'm only 5'7", so you can see how overgrown this is. But yeah, this is looking like it is extremely overgrown. I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do here. I've just crawled out of that hole, and basically I knee nerve, but that is the official path. As you can see, it's pretty overgrown, and there's a lot of blackthorn and hawthorn in there, so it's making for a pretty brutal push through all that undergrowth. And I'm guessing that's been left to grow like that because people just walk straight down here. Now, I was half expecting a gateway in amongst that, or a pathway to skirt this hedge down there, but this is what you have to be prepared to do if you're following footpaths. It is basically a game of look, see and find. And here's the remnants of a gate, totally overgrown, not maintained, and as you can see, it's no longer walkable. Like I say, people are just coming up the farm track here. I should imagine at some point somebody will try to get this reinstated back to the way it should be, but yeah, it's sad when it does get to this particular point. I've now got to head straight across the centre of this field into this wind to find my next point I can exit it into the next part of the track. Well, I've just come from over there in those farm buildings, and this is where I wish I had my paper map and compass. It would give me a slightly better direction of where I'm going with a slight bear. If I took a slight bearing, I could probably eliminate 100 yards of this hedge line which is behind me, which I'm going to have to pace up and down till I find the entrance. There is a gateway, but I am actually trying to find the original pathway. You know, I don't want to be taking a pathway or a track which I'm making myself, which isn't the official one. So I'm crouched down behind a hedge to get out of the wind. It is pretty strong. You know, it's probably pointless me doing this video, but I thought I'd just take you along to see the conditions and what you have to do if you're exploring, and you know, bushwhacking your way through, shall we say, footpaths that haven't seen footfall for a long time. I've yet to find this entrance into the next field system. There is a proper tractor gate further up, but it isn't the original one. So yeah, this is like, you know, full exploration mode at the minute, but there is a reason for me doing it. Yeah, so I apologise for the noise again. It is blowing, well, it's gusting. It's, you know, not far short of, you know, I would say on the verge of becoming very, very blustery, stormy, windy conditions. But you can see what I'm doing out here, and just been buffeted again. Yeah, I found a gateway which I believe looks more ancient, and it isn't a tractor one. You could get a tractor through it, but it looks like it is the original footpath. So I'm going to make my way into the next field through this one. And I'll just pan you around so you can see where I'm at. And also, if you are a little bit, shall we say, not enjoying the wind noise, this unfortunately is what I'm actually facing at the minute. I am actually being buffeted quite badly. Well, there is a watercourse right in the bottom of that valley, and you can see they've ploughed it pretty much to the usable stretch of ground, and the rest of it I would say is marshy. There is a road which leads at the top of that hill, and it goes to another village which would sit on top of that hill there. And as you can see, there's some nice forest, some glades, and yeah, it's looking very pleasant in there if you could actually only explore it. But I'll bring you around. This is where I'm going now. You got the wind turbine on the hill, some real steep hills and valleys with woodland there, and you're going to get buffeted. But this is the opposite side there, and I will be tracking across here and swinging over to that point over there. So we'll crack on and make our way forward. Well, this is obviously an obstacle I've got to get across. You can see it's completely boggy. It is boggy all the way around here. It's flooded here, boggy there, and all around the hedges. This has obviously been built up to allow access. I can see the footpath sign, so I know I'm on the right track, but I've got to work out how I'm going to do this. And I didn't bring wellies, I've just got a pair of hiking boots, which I don't really want to get too wet and well, muddy. Yeah, and as I guessed, this here is nothing but bog, and I do not want to sink too badly in it. Just to show you, you can see where it's all going to. This is where you wish that you probably didn't weigh quite so much. You can hear, you can see it's just starting to go over, but I've got to try and get over here and get onto that now. Right, I've got over that. Right, now I'm going to head up this actual track, and I believe this would be the official track straight up through here. Now that ploughed field just looks like one massive sand dune looking back to it now from here, but there is a fair bit of gradient to that hill. Let's go and see if this footpath actually comes out in this little bit of woodland. And I've got a feeling this is going to involve me doing a bit of bushwhacking. Hence my trusty hiking stick with a copper tip. I am running next to a road there, so I want to see how far I can get down into this piece of woodland. And indeed, if there is a pathway up to this gate, which I think possibly would have been the actual original footpath. But it is looking like this is severely overgrown now. This is what happens when footpaths get diverted and they lose their original path. I think I'm going to have a fair job to discover if what I believe is the case, where the footpath came in somewhere in that direction, then came up through here. But yeah, I'll give it a quick little look. Then I may have to abort this little look-see mission of mine. Well, I've just come in through that gate, and I'm making my way down through this, what would have been an old trackway. You know, I'm pretty much off piste here now, but hopefully I can find what I'm looking to find. Now, as I said, I am off piste, and I'm somewhere possibly, well, I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm just having a little look-see. I'm by myself, I'm not causing any damage, and I'm just having a little nose around to see if I can find something. The reason I'm not talking about it yet is because I don't know if I will be able to find it, because it may be on the map, but it certainly hasn't seen any work or action or any kind of maintenance for many years. So this is just a long shot for me, but I'm out in the countryside, so I'm enjoying it anyway. I think I'm not going to be able to avoid it. This is going to turn into bushwhacking, but I've still got to be a little bit discreet about what I do, because I could be open to view from people across the valley. So, you know, this isn't going to be that easy for me. Right, the mappage that I do have, where I've studied, only gives a vague indication of where I'm going to. That is probably because it's disused now, and on top of that, there is no requirement for anybody to be going there, as this is, you know, obviously private land and it's not worked anymore. But this still leaves me with a little bit of a conundrum, and me with a little bit of exploration and intuition. But it's not going to be easy. Well, you can see I'm quite exposed here now. I'm off the track, and I can be seen from a very, very long way. So I'm trying to do this a little bit like clandestine, and I should probably skirt right in the under branches of the trees to make my way down through. But it is all a case of trying to do this very quietly and out of sight. I just heard a pheasant go off up in the distance, so I don't know if somebody is kicking around nearby, but you can just hear him again. So I'm still trying to be very, very quiet and out of sight. Well, there's some old stonework there for and a water trough there, but this is still not what I'm looking for. And a newer pipe there, doesn't go anywhere, but it branches off into two waterways here. So is this connected to what I'm looking for? I don't know. Well, I've given it a good shot, but I can't find any evidence of it, and unfortunately just this other side of the hedge, that is nothing but marsh, wetland and bog. Yet it is stated that there is a, well, mine there, mine entrance. It's not something, it's still a bit too wet to go in there this time of year. I need another couple months of good dry conditions to dry all that out, because it is total wetland and you would get nowhere. You'd be trudging up to your knees and bum in mud and water. This is low-lying ground, as you can see, and all the water just funnels down into there. You know, I don't see how they could have mined that, but it is an old mine apparently. I'm not looking to go in, I just out of curiosity and you know, historical reference. It would just be nice to find it, but that's me drawing a blank on that tonight. But that's just how these things go. But I've still got to get myself out of this place and back to the road and back onto the footpaths. Well, I've made it out onto a country lane and I'm going to plod this back to the little village I left my car. Now, I'm not suggesting anybody, have a look on maps and try and find mines, quarries or anything and go looking for them yourself. I'm just doing this out of my own sheer interest and, history for the local area I live in. But as you can see, the track I went in on probably or would have served those mines or mine, and so that was interesting. But ultimately, where the map suggests the mine is, that area at the moment is a no-go, as in on foot, and it looks like it's been left to go to wild because it's has drain away, soak away area, marshland. But it does look like there's suspicious rises and bumps where the trees are at the very far end. Could there be a mine there? But it just beggars belief because it being so wet there. But hey ho, I don't know. I'm not a miner, so I don't know about these things. But my gut instinct, water and mines don't go together. But I should probably see if I can do a bit more research and pinpoint it just that little bit more. Well, the disappointment has faded. I really did put a lot of effort in to try and find that, and also, shall we say, with text and online and maps, but it's not a done deal yet. I will come back on a drier day, and when I say a drier day, I mean giving the ground another month or two to dry up. You do have. I certainly don't recommend anybody do what I'm doing because the possibilities of things going wrong or going sideways, as they say, are there, and you are a fair way from any help if it does go all bad. But like I always say about things with me, don't do what I do. I'm just doing this for sheer entertainment and for you guys to see what I get up to, but I certainly don't condone what I'm doing or recommend it. I'm possibly spending a bit too much time mooching around now, just enjoying being out in the country lanes and looking around. But, why not, yeah, there's worse things to do or worse things to be getting up to. Nice old farm cottage there. That would be a really, really nice place to actually live, I believe. I've got the locals checking me out. I haven't seen a ginger cat in a long time. I kind of almost forgot they existed. I keep stopping at gateways and just checking out the view. I can begin to appreciate why the old boys used to do that, when you used to see them just propped up against a gateway, chatting away for hours. But yeah, they knew something I didn't at the time, that it is quite therapeutic, just looking out over the valleys, the hills, and just letting time slip by. That tree took a fair hammering in the winter, and it is snapped pretty much clean off. It's only hanging by a few bits of wood, but on some of the branches from it, it's still got some leaves. There is still the last bits of life left in it. I mean, if I come down here, just look, it's still trying to live, even though it's been totally decimated. Amazing, really. I've just got this little bit of lane to go now, and it's the last bit of high ground before I drop down into the village. And in the extreme distance, you can just about make out Dartmoor. It's starting to become obscured by cloud, but it's still visible. And yeah, I'm going to push on down through here before it actually gets too dark. Well, me and the wife have got a little bit of a treat this weekend. We're staying at Jamaica Inn, one of the most haunted pubs in the UK, I believe. And yeah, we've got one of the rooms that seems to, or is said to have a lot of activity. So for me and the wife, it's going to be an interesting evening. The kids are being looked after, so we don't have to come home. Like I said, we've got the room. And yeah, we're going to enjoy being adults and enjoy being able to stay out, have a few drinks, and I think they call it date nights now, don't they? So we're going to be having a date night. So yeah, looking forward to that. And yeah, like you say, everybody needs a bit of time to themselves, don't they? Just something that is quite noteworthy if you don't really get down to Cornwall, or should we say the extreme rural parts. Hedgerows here can be 20 feet high. It's just the way they are. They're sunken, and as you can see by these hedges, they're extremely high. And that's just the way they are. They've, been, shall we say, excavated out of the shallot and the soil, and indeed possibly the horse and carts and the traffic from the past has wore it down a fair bit as well. But yeah, that's always an interesting feature to these lanes here, that they are really high. Well, I've made it back to the car, and it was a pleasant little trundle back through the lanes rather than coming back through the footpaths. Sometimes, it's as good as being on the footpaths or a quiet country lane. But that being said, I'm going to call this video to an end. Disappointment there, but you have to take disappointment with the good times, as they say in life. But it's not the end. I shall pursue this at a later date, amongst many other things I've got going on. But yeah. This is Andy, and I'll catch you again, and stay safe.